The number one thing that you misplace, is it your keys, your phone, or the remote? That's your number of the day. Champagne set up a table outside her house right next to the school bus stop, and the reason why, I think it's going to make you smile. It's travel season, and how do you find the best place to eat at an airport? I mean, you're stuck there. You might as well have a nice meal. It's a way to level up your life, and this is a new dating term, but it's good for any relationship. It's your daily joy scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy. The number of the day is...
This is the number one thing you misplace. It is your keys. And if you are looking for your keys right now, I hope there's some other friends that will call in and share their lost and found story, how they lost something and then they found it to help you find what you're looking for.
My daughter started second grade, and we had bought her a brand new pair of shoes for her gym class, and she managed to lose them right before the first day of school. And the first day of school, she had Phi-Ed. So I had to send her in Crocs. So I got a text from my neighbor with a picture saying, did anybody leave their shoes? They've been sitting in our yard for 2 weeks. And they were my daughters.
I know me telling you, just go back to the last place you saw it. It won't help you find that thing you're looking for. But I hope the stories you hear of other people finding their lost items just gives you a little hope.
I got married about a year ago, and we're on our way home from the jeweler. We had stopped at the grocery store quick and got my groceries, and we went home. Well, I got home, and I looked in my purse, and my wedding ring was gone. And so I went back, and I asked the grocery store, did you see a ring? We looked all over the parking lot. No, I'm sorry. This is a week before our wedding, and I'm just heartbroken. But I ended up going back to the grocery store one more time, and I saw this lime green note on the bulletin board saying, lost ring, call this number. And so I did, and there's this old couple, and they're so sweet, and wouldn't accept any reward, and my ring was just, looked like it had been run over. So the jeweler box was smashed, but my ring was in perfect condition. So just such a blessing, and it's nice to know there's still honest people out there.
And you learned a valuable lesson before your wedding that there's going to be some rough times in your marriage, like that ring box, but it's the inside that counts.
Hi, Andy. This is Peggy. I got a story about lost keys if you want it.
Yeah, go ahead, Peggy. I think it's going to help others know that they're not alone when they lose their keys, because it is the number one thing that we misplace.
Okay. We were hiking in Glacier on one of our vacations, and my husband had the keys in his pocket, and he slipped in the stream. Well, the keys fell out. We had no idea. So we walked back to the car, looked for the keys in his pockets, found out we had locked the car, so we couldn't get in. We're in the middle of Glacier. Who do you call? So we thought, well, we'll just walk back to the stream. Thank God, literally, because we found them in the stream because we had a bright blue keychain on it. We were so bloomin' excited.
I guess the question is, who do you call? First and foremost, God.
Right. And that's what we did. And we found them in the stream. It was amazing. It was like, oh, we were so happy.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
When you see needs in your neighborhood, it's kind of hard sometimes to figure out, what can I do, God? Well, Champagne noticed that her 5 kids, when they would have friends come over, they were always asking for food. And she realized these kids must not eat a lot at home. And so she came up with a great idea, because she's right next to where the bus stops to drop all the kids off from school every day. She just decided to set up a table and put some sack lunches on the table. That was 5 years ago. And now, every single day, kids run off the bus in excitement to see what Champagne has packed for them that day. Because it's always different: fruit, some sandwiches, little treats, and things like that. And Champagne does this because she says, I know what it's like to grow up and not know where my next meal is going to come from. And when the job of loving on all these kids feels overwhelming for her, she says, I just think about how I can't stop the hard times, but I know I can slow it down just a little bit. Just shared this hope for you that just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God's not working. And in my life, when I don't see God working, then my brain just starts to spiral. Oh, this is wrong. That is wrong. Well, I'm wrong. There's something wrong with me.
Hey, Andy, when you're talking about the brain,
Yeah.
I like to lean on the scripture that says to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ.
How does that work out in real life?
So if I have a thought and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? It's like, okay, does it line up with scripture? Is it true? Is it true? Because sometimes thoughts will come and they're either negative or they're going the wrong direction. And to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ means I can speak back what is true. Because even Jesus, when he was confronted by the enemy, he used scripture. And that's the most powerful thing that there is. And I feel like I've worked with people with dementia a long time. And when their thinking is wrong, their actions follow. And so if I can get their thinking back on track with just gentleness and redirection, and then often it's a better outcome.
He founded a watch company, but his life motto had to do with not hurrying. Kind of seems funny because every time I look at my watch, I think, oh boy, I'm running late. It's Kentaro Hattori, founder of Psycho Watches. His motto, don't hurry, don't stop. Because if you hurry, then you have to rest. If you want to keep going without resting, then you mustn't hurry. In a more biblical way, someone told me this recently, that Jesus, he was always busy, but never in a hurry. It's the last thing you want to worry about when you are in an airport. Where's the best place to eat? Can I trust that food? Here's how to figure out where to eat and level up your life. Look where the flight attendants and flight crew are eating. Chances are they've been there many times and know where the best spots are. Unless there's a Cinnabon, that's always the best spot. We're just talking about the danger of being stuck in the past, because if you focus on what you left behind, you will never see what lies ahead. And Sandy wants to share a verse from the Bible that talks about that.
Isaiah 43:18 and 19. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Behold, I will do a new thing. It shall spring forth. I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. You get tricked into the happy memory, and then all of a sudden, they really mess with your mind.
I love the word that they use, dwell, because you think about that's like setting up shop. That's living. You're living in your past. That's not just thinking about it. That is full time.
Yeah, and it can ruin a whole day, because then you have to fight to get that junk out of there.
The past is the past, but it's hard to leave it there. So, Kayla, how are you going to focus on your future?
I'm going to start thinking positive and stop worrying about the past.
Kayla, I think a lot of people would say, I don't even want to think about my past, but I think it's important to remember what happened to you before and see how God was with you every step of the way.
Right, because he's always there. Every day he brings you a new thing.
Scrolling social media so you don't have to, finding the good things in it too. That's kind of the hard part nowadays. Here is your daily joy scroll with a relationship expert talking about a new trend in dating, but I think this is good for all of us.
Hardballing is laying it all out there right in the beginning, putting your expectations and wants out there in black and white from the jump.
It's a great idea to get the expectations out that you have, because the worst thing is to have expectations of somebody that they have no idea how to fulfill because you've never told them. Maybe as you're listening and worshiping, you're kind of having one of those, conversations with God about, God, I'm frustrated. I don't know what you want me to do next. Or you see maybe what you think he wants you to do. And you say, God, how am I supposed to do that? That just seems like that's impossible. You're not alone in thinking that. People in the Bible that followed God really closely felt the same way too. And in one incredible story, this guy named Samuel says, God, how am I supposed to go here? The people that you're telling me to go to, they don't like me a lot. I might not come out alive. He says, this is what to do. Bring a cow, bring this guy, and go to this place. He says, you do these 3 things, I'll show you what to do next. And it's so simple, but I think it's such a great thing to think about, that sometimes we get so worried about, okay, well, what's going to happen if I do this, this, and this, and this? And God is just saying, all right, bring this, take this person, go here, and I'll do the rest for you. We don't have to worry about the details if we're following what God asks us to do. He'll do the rest. He'll take care of all those things way better than we ever could. You have to make thousands of decisions every day. It's difficult. You get worn down. It's called decision fatigue. But here's a great rule of thumb for you. If it isn't a clear yes, then it's a clear no. You ever have God just kind of dump ideas into your brain that are from the Bible, but you just, hey, this is what I want you to focus on. God has been having me focus lately on giving more, being intentional about it.
I mentor young girls, and we've been doing this since July. And I've always prayed, Lord, I just want to always have enough food to feed the girls when they come over, and I just want to be able to do for them. Well, they knew a story that my son's dad promised him a smartphone for Christmas and then completely flaked on it, and I was really upset because I couldn't do anything about it. One of the girls got a new phone, gave him her old smartphone, and said to me, you do so much for other people. We just wanted to do something for you.
I love that. So you were taking care of others' needs. You were doing what God wanted you to do. And then he showed up in a big way.
It was very sweet.
The Bible talks a lot about giving. And when you hear that word, if you think, Andy, I'm out, I don't have money. Well, there's so many other ways to do it.
There was a homeless person, and I had nothing to give but food out of my lunch. I offered her my banana, and she accepted it wholeheartedly. It just reminded me of those times that even just little small things, you can help somebody out.
Yeah, no act of kindness is ever wasted.